Good evening, everyone. You've reached the middle of the week. That's right, it's Wednesday night. Wednesday night on FGM Cast means ANZCAR Xfinity Cup cars and the Thunder Series. Tonight we head to Chicagoland for the next instalment of this series, and looking forward to getting into this one. Last week we did see Hamish Gallagher take out another win here, the second of his wins so far this season in the Xfinity Cup cars. Can he do it again? Can he be the first driver to get to the hat-trick? Only time will tell. Let's get into it. Let's roll the intros here on FGM Cast. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGM Cast for your Wednesday night. As the intro said there, ANZCAR Thunder Series on FGM Cast. We are at Chicagoland for this 100-lap round 5 race here as part of the Xfinity Series, as part of the Xfinity Car Thunder Series on ANZCAR. Carl Withy tonight again, back with me. Welcome, Carl.
Hello, Stuart, and hello, everybody out there. We are back with the Xfinity. We are here at Chicagoland Speedway, a very fun 2.5 kilometre speedway. One of the slight cookie cutter tracks, you can say. Relatively steep banking. Got 18 degrees banking on the corners down in Joliet, Illinois. So any Blues Brothers fans will know that name very well.
I completely hammed up the start there, and I must admit I'm a bit under the weather tonight still, but we battle on regardless. So thanks for tidying up what was basically a Crash Bandicoot of an intro there. We'll move along. However, we're just on board with Michael Skurlock. In fact, I was hoping to jump on board with Hamish Gallagher, who tonight hunts down his third win in 5 rounds so far, be the first hat-trick we've seen for a little while. I think Luke Trahere was the last to do a hat-trick for us with the Truck Series in Season 1. So we'll see how he goes tonight. Probably no doubt dressed up in the Castrol livery that he runs on that Toyota Supra. And we're on board at the moment with Michael Skurlock. We've got a couple of minutes to go in practice before we get into this one. Carl, have you got the championship standings there?
I do indeed. So, heading into this race, unsurprisingly, Hamish Gallagher is in the lead of this series. He is currently sitting on 129 points. He is 11 points ahead of his teammate Josh Micklemore. In third place, big mover Ruben Phelps, 24 points behind the leaders, but working his way up the series ladder very well. JCW, Josh Carroll-Walden, sits in fourth, 25 points behind the leaders. Fifth place is Mr. Dave Douglas. He's got 26 points to make up on the leaders, but not that far off. Matty Raymond sits in sixth position, 28 points behind. We have joint 7th place for Gary Wellman and Brenton West, 31 points back. Norman Clark is in 9th with his teammate Edward Foster, 33 points behind the leaders. And that is our championship standings coming into this race.
Yeah, and of course, it looks like Edward Foster at the moment not running tonight, so that will change for him. So there'll be some movement in the field. And we're looking here, we're talking in the pre-race about the right-hand rear tyre copping a hammering at this track. It's almost, as you say, a triangle, or a tri-oval, I should say. And that pit strategy and caution periods and things like that are going to be ever important tonight.
Yeah, look, pit strategy is going to be important here. Keeping those right rear tyres relatively cool as well will be important. Track temperature is not too bad. It's only 34 degrees Celsius, so it's not too hot tonight, luckily. But it is a track where it does get a little bit loose. The asphalt here is a little bit slippery. It's not the grippiest tarmac you're going to find, grippiest asphalt you're going to find out there. So you do tend to get a lot of rear slipping, and it's exacerbated in these Xfinity cars because they have not got the aero of the cup cars and things like that, so they do tend to slip around a little bit more at the rear. Quite a lot of power in these cars as well, so you've got to really look after that rear right tyre. That's the one that is at the most risk, and you know, when you get a little bit of a slide here, all of a sudden you start heating that tyre up and it just gets worse and worse throughout the whole race.
So the guys are going to have to manage that. As we said, it is a 100-lap race here tonight. Currently looking at around about a 31-second lap. So the race time will be around about that sort of 55-minute mark. By the time you take into account pit stops and the like, maybe a little more. And as usual, we'll grab the podium at the end of this one and have a chat with them. If you are in our chat tonight, thank you for joining us, and obviously look forward to seeing your thoughts about this race at Chicagoland. Don't forget, if you are watching us across our socials, then we would certainly appreciate a like, a subscribe, or a follow, and a share if you feel so inclined. Make sure to turn on the notifications if you are on YouTube, our primary place for our content. And of course, AJ Insurance Services join us tonight as our streaming partner once again. AJ Insurance Services offering all different kinds of advice in terms of general insurance on commercial and domestic insurance. So if you are in the market for some insurance, as the 09 sponsored Norm Clark, AJ Insurance Services car makes its way past the screen there, then do give Joe Daly and the team a call and have a chat with them about any of the requirements you might have.
Yeah, as always, a big thank you to all the sponsors and all of the help that they give, and of course to all of you watching, because without you guys we could not keep going. You're the ones that keep us on the air, of course, but the guys out on track are the ones that make us want to be on the air, and we're looking forward to another great race tonight. We've had some really close ones recently. I think we're going to be in for a very, very good one tonight.
Yeah, we saw on Monday night an extraordinarily clean start to that race, which was surprising to us in the booth, with the track there not conducive at WWTR for that type of clean racing, particularly when we had, I think it was 30 trucks on the grid, or nearly 40 trucks on the grid. So expect to see a similar clean start here tonight, obviously with the track a little more open, and a fewer Xfinity cars on the track. We've got a field of 30 tonight.
You've cursed it now, Stuart.
Absolutely, I have. Yep, I've put my boot right through the mirror and did that underneath an open ladder.
Yeah, that's it. You're going to have to walk around the gatepost anti-clockwise 4 times while tapping your nose to get rid of that one, I think. So we are going to be in for a good one. Hopefully we do see another good clean race tonight as well. We've been having some good stints as well and seeing some really good driving standards in the field as well, which is definitely something we are very happy about, because it really does show the skill of a lot of these guys as we are heading into qualifying here at Chicagoland.
So tonight, the laps are going to be brought to us by Lachlan Urquio. Lachlan jumped back into the sim after a period out with a busted knee. And so more than happy to have him back. He had a good performance on Monday night, finishing inside the top 5, I believe, for the truck series. So the ANZCAR Esport car will jump on board with him. Carl, let him get up to speed and get a lap on board with Lockie.
Yeah, that's it. Really good performance on Monday, getting in the top 5, so he had a good run there. It's good to see him recovering from that knee injury. So coming on to the front, well, it's not really a straight here. The front corner coming across here, keeping up high. It's going to probably be the second lap's going to be the faster one. Coming into the first corner, 18 degrees of banking. You're coming off around about 11 degrees on the front stretch. Onto the back here, much flatter here. Quite a flat back straight here, and this is really the only straight you've got. The only time you're not turning the wheel to the left. Into the final set of corners here. Back end is going to step out mid-corner here. You just got to keep on it. Just need to lift off that little bit. Just get the car working. You see Lockie cutting down now across the tri-oval to get the best of the lap. And you'll see that as they do go through, just trying to gain as much time as possible by cutting a little bit of the lap shorter. Of course, it can gain you quite a bit of time. Lachlan Leclerc setting a really good time there of 31.1, just a couple of tenths off of Dave Douglas, up in first place at the moment. How will this second lap be? We will shortly find out. Not a huge lap around here, but it is a good one. Will this be better for Lachlan Leclerc? It is indeed a 31 6-6. Oh, sorry, slightly better there, but it gets him up into fifth place just behind Dave Douglas. Hamish Gallagher has gone top of the board.
Yes, and just a tad under a 31 there, Hamish Gallagher, with Brenton Hobson and Jaden Russell in second and third. Jaden Russell making a splash since he's joining the ANZCAR League, so a good result there for him in third. Dave Douglas not getting through his second lap, so he had to pull the pin after only one. We've got Michael Skurlock out on track at the moment, and he is just coming towards the end of his first lap. Ruben Phelps just completed his first lap as well, which moved him up the standings to 13th.
Luke Traher jumping up to 6th at the moment. We're speaking to Ruben just before he is looking to get that RP Motorsport car up a bit higher in qualifying. He's been having trouble with the qualifying recently, just struggling to get the car up into the pointy end of the field and then having to do a lot of work in the races, but he's been doing some great jobs. How will this second lap be? It has got him up to 6th position. That is definitely an improvement on his former qualifying. Fastest at the moment is Mr. Michael Skurlock. Mickey S is out there. How is this lap going to go? It gets him up into third.
Yeah, typical performance there. We've got Josh Micklemore out on track. He was very fast during during practice, so we'll keep an eye on him while he gets around for his flying lap. He's got 2 laps to get it done.
Yeah, Micklemore, never count him out. Of course, his teammate up there on pole at the moment, provisional pole at the moment in Hamish Gallagher, of course. The ever swift Hamish Gallagher. Brenton Hobson sitting behind him, another newcomer to the series, making an absolute splash. We've seen some really good results from a lot of new faces this year in the Xfinity Series in Thunder, which is exactly what we want to see. How is this going to go for Mr. Josh Micklemore? Gets him up into 9th position. Not a bad lap from himself, but he will have wanted more from that for sure. Stephen Williams jumping up to P2 there. Great result from Stephen Williams there for qualifying. Really nice lap.
Haven't yet seen Andrew Dyson out. Perhaps he's going to choose to start from the rear of the field again this week. He did do this last week as well, so let's see how that fares for him. Last week not working out quite so well, so Josh Micklemore there jumps into 2nd place with 31.02. But speaking of Steve Williams, that's his strongest qualifying performance for quite some time. Of course, Steve, well known for making his way patiently through the field and always ending up inside the top 10, so tonight he's going to start from 3rd, so he'll be pumped, no doubt, for that one.
Yeah, really good result from him there, getting himself up into those areas. Really nice lap there from Hamish Gallagher, as always, very, very quick out there. Just heard from Ryan Jones in the chat. If only he could convert his practice times into his qualifying times, he would be a very happy man. So let's run through the starting grid. So on the front row, we have Hamish Gallagher and Josh Micklemore. Second row is Stephen Williams with Brenton Hobson. Third is Michael Skurlock, Jaden Russell. Fourth, we have Dave Douglas, Lachlan Leclerc. 5th is Ruben Phelps with Luke Trahair. 6th, we have JCW, Joshua Carroll-Walden with Ryan Jones. 7th is Troy Davidson, Brenton West. 8th, we have Kay Donnelly, Christopher Finley. 9th is Scott Griffiths and Aaron Dillon. 10th, we have Mirko Dortnack and Michael Schroeder. 11th is Norman Clark, Ben Vickers. 12th, Matt Hunter, Dylan Gray. 13th is Tristan Koch and Nobby Tompkins. 14th, Andrew Dyson, Steve Hoppett and Aidan Schultz, I think, will be taking up the final row.
Yeah, Aiden there just not setting a time either. I'm not even sure if he's taking the grid. So we'll have a look through the field once things get underway here. Same with Dyson and Steve Hoppett as well. Yet to see them turn up onto the grid. Looking for Williams, Skerlock, Trahair and Dortnack. Those Cranky Esports boys having a conference and jumping in now.
Yeah, getting the pre-race scrum ready, working out what their strategy is going to be to take on the Mitch Motorsport cars that are right up the front of the field. Again, another good result from Mitch Motorsport. That team is it's one of those teams that when they first formed back in the day, we said they are going to be nigh impossible to beat. And it has proven that they are one of the strongest teams out there for sure, with some of the strongest drivers in the field. But saying that, we have got so many newcomers and so many new teams and old powerhouses coming back into form. DPR doing a great job with Stephen Williams up there in 3rd position. They've been having a good, strong run. Of course, you've got out there Natari Autosport with JCW, Joshua Carroll-Walden, and we should have Norman Clark as well out there. So again, those teams just working out with each other, just getting it working. Looks like Andrew Dyson, Steve Hoppett and Aidan Schultz aren't going to be taking part in tonight's race, unfortunately. So shame not to see those guys out there, but it's sometimes the case, you just don't quite make it working. Although so Hamish Gallagher leads the field away, and he is going to be getting them all lined up, ready to go here for the start of the Chicagoland round of the Thunder Series, round number 4, brought to you by AJ Insurance Services, of course, and FGM Ecast, Ferguson Group Media, your place for e-pace.
That's it, as we get right up here and ready to go. It is Gallagher and Mickelmore who are going to take us away here. A Mitch lockout on the front row. It's not the first time we've seen it this season. It won't be the last time. When's Gallagher going to drop the hammer? The answer is now, and off he goes. Josh Mickelmore goes with him very well. Steve Williams just comfortably slots in there into the chain. And we've got Hobson and Russell. We've got Skerlock and Urquio got good starts as well, with Dave Douglas, Ruben Phelps and Luke Trahair rounding out our top 10 as Ruben Phelps making some move early under Dave Douglas. We've got 3 wide here with Luke Trahair in the middle. Joshua Carroll-Walden, JCW on the low line there. Trahair has to surrender a little bit. He's going to drop another position there at that start. Is Ryan Jones getting down under the inside and also around the outside as well on top of him there. I think that is the car of Lachlan Urquio. So, no, in fact, it's not. My apologies. I've jumped too far up the grid.
As Aaron Dillon has just lost the back end mid-corner, he manages to catch it. That back end is getting very loose on the 013 there. He just managed to save it again, but watch out for the next corner, because that's going to be the time where that back end is probably going to step out once more, being those rear tyres will have heated up a little bit. Very close to a bit of a big moment there for him. I think we also saw Mirko Dortnack getting caught out a little bit too, just having to drop down a tiny bit, just getting pushed a little bit onto the infield. Hamish Gallagher has made contact with the wall up front. He has just lost it coming out of turn number 2. Just made a bit of contact with the wall, and that has really damaged him. He's going to get passed by his teammates here. They are going to be catching him quite quickly with that damage. That's not going to help him out. You're going to see Josh Mickelmore get ahead of him relatively soon. That is a disaster for Hamish Gallagher in the Taylor Swift liveried Mitch Motorsport car. The 13 getting that damage early on is not going to help his run out.
Yeah, you can see there just right hand front and right hand rear, and this will let Josh Mickelmore into the lead. They will have just coordinated this one with that damage, I assume. And Brenton Hobson there just jogging on the spot. It won't be too long before this train with Hobson, Russell and Skerlock start putting the pressure on. In fact, you can see there Hobson down the inside already. The 54 on the 13. He's going to get that done. Just cut across where he can. And that is really affecting the straight line speed of the 13 Mitch Motorsport entry.
Yeah, and the trouble now is that little bit of damage to the front is going to affect. There's not much aero on these cars, but there is enough. So Hamish is going to be struggling a bit with understeer now. You can see him running up the track a bit as there's cars on the inside. He gets so close to Jaden Russell there. But the thing is, the car just loses the aero when they get so close to each other like that. It just lifts the aero off, and you lose a lot of the grip of the car, and that's kind of what's happening to Hamish Gallagher at the moment. He's starting to struggle quite a bit, unfortunately, because of that, and it is very tricky to get these cars back working for you. As Stevie Dubb there just getting very close, making a tiny bit of contact with the wall. Dave Douglas just behind him in the Supra, just clinging to the back at the moment. But you can see these cars are not happy at the moment. They're struggling for grip. Just really looks like they're just having a little bit of trouble just getting their cars to tighten up a little bit. They're just far too loose at the moment, and just struggling a little bit, especially mid-corner.
At the front, Josh Micklemore with Brenton Hobson battling away. We've got the gap back to these. It's mid-pack. Well, it's not even mid-pack. It's from third here as Michael Skurlock gets a position. He's just pushing there on Jaden Russell. He's going to get the job done there. So we're sort of looking at the battle here in the top 10. All but the front two, who are sort of gapping a little bit now. You can see the distance there, but this battle here, and also just a little bit further back with Gallagher, Jones, Williams and Phelps. No, in fact Phelps is just one further out of that.
As you see there, Ryan Jones just going up on the high side of pole, so to Hamish Gallagher. Gallagher just going down a little bit low there, just catching a little bit of the apron. That's unsettled the car, and that's going to give position to Jones, and Stephen Williams is going to say thank you very much and quickly take up that position as well. So Hamish Gallagher is going to be praying for a caution right now so he can jump in pit lane, get a little bit of service done on that car, a little bit of repair, because at the moment he's hemorrhaging positions. Oh, just behind him, the car of Michael Schroeder there just had a big impact into the wall, almost caught Troy Davidson and Brenton West behind him. Very close moment there.
Yeah, drivers right throughout the field struggling for rear end grip very early on, only 10 laps in. We'll check before the track temperature here, 33 degrees, so certainly not the hottest we're running, but it will affect those tyres, of course.
Yeah, it's a relatively low. The track, the sort of surface here doesn't tend to gain as much heat. Obviously, being a very pale colour, it sort of doesn't absorb the heat quite as quickly. So track temperatures don't tend to be quite as hot. But it's a relatively cool day as well there in Illinois. So the track is very cool, the air temperature is very cool, and of course these cars, they don't have any tyre blankets like those fancy European cars. So they are basically going out there on very cold, big lumps of rubber and trying to get the temperature into them, and sometimes it can take a couple of laps. And then you've got to be careful of getting a bit too much temperature in them. So it's just that fine balancing act.
That usual pattern at the front here with the leader, Josh Micklemore, getting away a little bit, but Hobson and Skurlock now close right up on the back of him. Lachlan Urquio also looking to get involved in this lead pack as we're 12 laps into this one.
Yeah, the race is going along a good pace. Scott Griffiths having a moment a little bit further down the field. His Supra just catching the wall, and he is going to lose a couple of positions from that one. Unfortunately, just drops in behind Brenton West there in that absolutely beautiful looking Tom's Supra. That's definitely one of my favourite liveried cars out in this Thunder series.
As Hamish Gallagher continues to slip back and out, he is in 9th position. Still sort of fighting away there with Stephen Williams. And we've got Joshua Carroll-Walden, Ruben Phelps joining that pack with Luke Traher just behind them as well. So there's groups forming.
Hamish is actually starting to gain a little bit of speed now. It seems the car's getting a little bit into the window where it's operating a bit better for him. Stephen Williams making a little bit of a mistake catching the wall. Going to go free wide down the back straight here. Ruben Phelps on the inside, Stephen Williams on the outside. Going to get Joshua Carroll-Walden trying to sneak through there. Ruben Phelps is right down on the inside. He's going to have to keep that car held tight there. They are free wide coming through the corner. It's going to be tricky coming across the line, but Ruben Phelps is going to have a good position here on that lower line. Ruben Phelps is going to get the position on Hamish Gallagher, gets in front of him there. Stevie Dubb manages to get the position back. Steve and Williams in a DPR car, and Joshua Carroll-Walden's going to try and thread the needle. He's going to try and go free wide once again down the back straight. Hamish Gallagher's going to fall back a little bit. Ruben Phelps on the inside once more. He's going to have to take that tight line, just get that car turned in. It's a little bit tricky. You sort of want to be a little bit higher up than that generally, because you start scrubbing the tyres a little bit. You're going to lose a little bit of speed on the exit of the corner. You can see how much JCW's gaining. He's going to get past Stephen Williams right now. Stephen Williams on that outside. JCW just again trying to get that car locked in, try and get it underneath Stephen Williams' car, just try and get that position, but Stephen Dubb's got that driver on the exit of the corner at the moment. Great battle going on here for P8, 9 and 10.
Yeah, for a moment there we were nearly 5 wide, which was almost impossible to conceive, but obviously with them running down on the apron. Luke Trahair got involved there as well as Hamish Gallagher, so this battle well and truly alive. You can see still here Trahair now looking for a way to push the 43 Hank Esports car up into the middle. He's now managed to make his way down onto the low line there. That will be preferred. He's going to go underneath Joshua Carroll-Walden here.
As they go free wide once more, JCW just starting to get a little bit squirrely. They start to struggle a little bit with the car, but he has managed to get that slightly higher line. It's going to give him better drive off. You can see him defending very hard, cutting across the nose of Stephen Williams there. This battle is not over for sure. Troy Davidson doing a good job just in the background with his teammate Kay Donnelly as well. The Sim Boys cars are just working their way into this battle as these guys fight on. It's given Ruben Phelps a chance to break away a little bit. He's starting to run away. Ryan Jones managed to get past Jaden Russell a little bit further ahead as well, but as this fight carries on, it's just going to slow this group down a little bit and give Ruben Phelps a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of space just to stretch his legs.
Yeah, and he's doing just that. So half a second up the road here, he's about half a second behind this pack here, so we'll see him appear on in the picture with Jaden Russell there. As you can just see in there, gap closing quickly. Up the front it is still Josh Micklemore from Brenton Hobson. Michael Skurlock's just backed off a little bit there in third position, but certainly within striking distance as we head towards the 21st lap of the race. And so far so good, Carl.
Yeah, very much so. Of course, there's a long way still to go. We've got 80 laps remaining of this race. Dylan Graves unfortunately pulled out the race, took a bit of damage in the corner, had a big impact, and that is taking him out of tonight's proceedings. But up the front, Micklemore is doing a good job of keeping Hobson at bay. Skurlock is not pushing too hard. I've just got to be wondering if maybe Skurlock is just cruising at the moment, because there is a long way to go here. Obviously, with 100 laps, you're going to want to try and split it down the middle if you can, to try and make it into a one-stop race, because every time you go through that pit lane, you're going to lose an awful lot of time.
Yeah, and the cars will get lapped here, of course, as is almost always the case. They'll get lapped here if they do jump in under green. So you don't want to be the first driver to blink and catch that out and then have old Murphy slam you with a caution period. It means you don't end up getting that lap back. So the battle here for 17th and 18th between Michael Schroeder and Christopher Finlay. So this is another close run battle. We've also got 3 cars, Dortnack, Griffith and Dillon battling away for 19th, 20th and 21st. So definitely are battles all the way through the field here.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of battles going on at the moment. Quite a lot of them involving Simboys cars at the moment, in all honesty. Just up the front, Ryan Jones has managed to get past Lachlan Urquio. The Simboys got a new logo, it seems, sort of stingray-looking dogs. Interesting little logo, very cool little symbol there. kind of like it. But you can see also we've got Luke Trahir just battling with JCW. They're side by side at the moment, very close to each other. Trahir and JCW taking advantage of a little bit of side drafting here, just getting very close. They're just gonna, they just narrowly don't make contact there. There was nothing between them whatsoever. You could fit a mosquito between those two cars and it would not have any room whatsoever. But Trahir has managed to make the position on JCW for the moment.
Little Eskimo kiss there.
Absolutely. You cannot get much closer than that, and you would not want to either.
So now Trahir takes that position just in front there. You can see Phelps has caught up to Jaden Russell. So they're now battling away for position. We said that was coming. Phelps managing to break away from the battle of Trahir and Carol Walden and make up that time. But of course, in that as well, Trahir and Carol Walden not too far off the back of Phelps, you can see there. So they'll resume the battle there. Looks like Ruben Meyer just lost a little bit of time on the last lap around because that gap to Russell has opened right up and he's now back in the clutches of Trahir and Carol Walden.
Yeah, he checked up a little bit coming across the triangle section and lost a little bit of time. He just had to ease off and that cost him that little bit of time. Gave Trahir and Carol Walden a chance to catch up to them. Smart move by JCW actually to fall behind Luke Trahir as they were battling up the top there, because those guys were battling very hard, but they were going to cost themselves time. They've got Hamish Gallagher being a bit of a buffer between them and the next pack, which is Stephen Williams. Hamish Gallagher doing a good job of keeping that car up in a relatively high position with that damage to the front end. But he is certainly struggling out there for pace. It's not going too well. Ruben Phelps is going to start catching once again now, though. He is going to be catching very, very quickly, and he's just got to make the move at the right point here, because you just want to make sure you can get the car underneath the driver in front of you. Just want to make that pounce right, and you don't want to get caught and checked up, because if he gets checked up here, he's going to lose 2, maybe 3 positions without without being able to do too much to defend.
Absolutely, you can see Russell there just sliding a little bit, but very, very much a controlled slide. I was once told that's impossible, but you know what we mean. As he gets close up to the wall there, Phelps just not quite. Here's his opportunity. As I say, he's not quite able to get a run on, but just able here to push a little bit. And Russell, I think, probably looking in the rear-view mirror at the moment and thinking, "Oh my God, the Hot Wheels are coming," and they are indeed. Lachlan Urquio is quickly joining this as well.
Luke Trahir just behind Ruben Phelps has just made contact with the wall, and that's going to lose him a position. So he's just going to fall back into the grasps of Hamish Gallagher right now. Lachlan Urquio's got to keep an eye out behind him too, because Jaden Russell, although he's driving with his mirrors at the moment because he has got that Richard Petty inspired car right all over the place in the Ruben Phelps, the RP Motorsport car, the 06. He's trying to make a move on Urquio, but right now Ruben Phelps is going to be the one to make the move. Goes down the inside of Russell and they makes the move so close to each other there. Russell just trying to get that slipstream, trying to get underneath Ruben Phelps there. Will unsettle Phelps' car a little bit, but good job holding on to that. Jaden Russell really tried to get that slingshot working. He makes contact with the wall a tiny bit there, just getting into the corner, but this is going to slingshot them and get them closer to Lockie Urquio and give them a chance to make the run. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ruben Phelps making a move on Lockie relatively soon.
One other thing that happened while we were watching this is Dave Douglas put a move on Michael Skurlock and got it done. He has now moved up into 3rd position. So in that Rowdy Motorsport liveried 199, and he's now up into 3rd. Well, Rowdy Energy, I should say. Thought it said Motorsport, writing a little bit too small there for my tired old eyes, but Rowdy Energy 199 there of Dave Douglas moving up into 3rd.
I have to get you in to see me and get those eyes tested. Dave Douglas doing a good job as always, Mr. Douglas. Always working very hard, and it's good to see him back driving as well. It's much loved having him up in the commentary booth. It's good to see him out on track. Ruben Phelps, meanwhile, has made the position on Lachlan Urquio. Now Jaden Russell is all over the back of the Oz New Zealand Combined Racing League car of Lockie Urquio there, and is really putting the pressure on him.
Just stick with this one. There are some other battles going on down the pack. We're keeping an eye on them as well. We'll jump to them as they develop. Schroeder and Clark quite close as well at the moment, and there's a good battle between Davison, Hunter and West, including Steve Williams as well, actually. So we'll jump back to that one in a moment.
Yeah, that battle is really starting to heat up. Kay Donnelly managed to get past Stephen Williams, and now he has got Troy Davidson all over the back of him. Troy Davidson's trying to make the move right now. Stevie Dove's going to get caught up on the outside. Got Matt Hunter there just trying to keep up behind Stephen Williams in the Vision Motorsport car. He's going to try and get the bit of draft here, and they're going to try to block Troy Davidson on the inside, but I think Troy Davidson's going to make the move here. Going to see Stephen Williams just struggle a little bit on the outside, just get up a little bit on the marbles, lose a little bit of speed, and Troy Davidson's going to get the run off the corner right now, as behind them, Mirko Dortnak is the first car into one of the first cars into pit lane. Got Aaron Dillon in there as well. So a few people are coming in. Ryan Jones as well. Ryan Jones has pitted.
And Noddy Tompkins as well. So first guys to jump. We've got Josh Mickelmore now, 2 seconds to the good. Nearly at the front of this race. You can see there, just in the high picture, Michael Skurlock not letting Dave Douglas forget that he is there, and he's putting the pressure on Douglas for third place.
Yeah, Mirko Dortnak doing his very best Austin Powers moment in the pit lane, missing his pit box and having to do a 79-point turn to get back in there. So he would have hoped that would have gone unnoticed. Unfortunately for him, I was looking, so didn't get away with that one. Sorry, Mirko.
And that is why we saved the race replay.
That's it. You like to save that so we get to look at it later on. Dave Douglas has got Michael Skurlock on the back of him. Oh, there is contact. There is contact. Jaden Russell and Lachlan Urquio.
Russell across the infield.
Joshua Carroll Walton, sorry.
Oh, no, oh, wow. He's come straight back out on the track. Excuse me. And I'll tell you what, the triple one of Ryan Jones there, he would have had an absolute underpants moment there, just managing to move down underneath Jaden Russell as he re-entered the track, and fortunately a huge incident avoided.
Oh, the gap between those two was about half a metre. There was nothing between them. Watch this replay right here. You can see Ryan Jones coming up. You can see Brenton on the outside there, Brenton West there, and those two just having to absolutely thread the needle. 4 cars wide for a moment. That was very close. Jaden Russell really got caught out with that one. I was surprised the caution didn't come out, in all honesty. I thought that was going to be a caution.
And there it was, just on screen at full speed. Ryan Jones, great driving from him. He's managed to keep his race alive. That most certainly would have ended it.
I think that would have... look, if that caution came out, that would have ended his race in the first place, but that car being crashed into would have definitely ended it. That would have been a spectacular crash, but not something he would have wanted to have happen. Meanwhile, we've got the number 43 of Luke Trahair running up past Lachlan Urquio with Ryan Jones on those fresh tyres. You can see how much the fresh tyres are helping out right now. Ryan Jones coming in quite early on lap 36, I think it was. But quite early indeed. So he's going to have to make another stop, of course. Stephen Williams coming in as well. So expected fuel tonight was around about 50-55 laps from what my sources were telling me. So we'll see how these guys are going. Of course, the big thing is tyre wear. It's how much do you keep out there, how long do you stay out there, and how much do you risk it as well. Of course, keeping out longer, it does give you an advantage if the caution flag comes out, because the guy that would really lose out are those that come into pit lane. But of course, the longer you stay out there, if you do need to make 2 more stops, you're going to lose an awful lot of time on the undercut as well. So Josh Mickelmore right now has to make 10 more laps to effectively get home on this set and make it into a 2-stop race. Sorry, a 1-stop race even. So that's what he's going to be hoping for. A lot of these guys are going to be trying that. A few people are rolling the dice though, trying for a split strategy and just trying that undercut. And if that comes off good for them, they will really go gangbusters and gain a lot of positions.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just making some notes here so that we can go back to a couple of these things a little later on in the shoot. But that Ryan Jones incident there, that will be one that we get a replay of. There's we can just see here Mirko Dortnak lapping himself, and he's made it onto the highlights reel as well.
Yeah, a few highlights. We've had a few really good ones recently. I was talking to the number 6 of Ruben Phelps earlier today about the big moment he had with Riley Curtis flying over his car a week or so back. That was a spectacular one, yeah, that really was something else. And for Ruben to come out of that and get a top 5 finish, he was very much very, very lucky boy on that one.
Yeah, the car just flipped over the bonnet. So very, very theatrical, but he was lucky to get away with it.
Yeah, very much so. It was a spectacular looking crash. And I mean, you don't get it very often where a car goes over the top of you and you keep going.
No. In short, no, you don't. So Lachlan Urquhart here, just struggling, I think, a little bit with the tyre late in this stint. He's drifted back to Joshua Carroll-Walden. Ruben Phelps, speak of the devil, has just moved past Michael Skurlock, so that was a change for position there. So Phelps up now 5 positions into 4th place. He'll be happy with that, I can tell you that. And Dave Douglas, Brenton Hobson and Josh Mickelmore, your top 3 in reverse order there. So Mickelmore still in the lead of this race. Pretty cool lap 50. So looks like at this stage he's pretty smooth sailing. He is doing well.
Sorry, jumping back to JCW and Hamish Gallagher right now. Hamish Gallagher's putting the move on Joshua Carroll-Walden as we speak. Hamish Gallagher getting a bit of resurgence on these old tyres as everybody's starting to struggle for pace, but they have got a fast charging car just behind them. Noddy Tompkin just behind him on those fresh tyres. So Noddy Tompkin right there on those fresh tyres. He's going to want to try and get through. Of course, lapped cars can unlap themselves. There's nothing wrong about that. You've just got to just try not to crash. And this is the tricky part, of course, when you are out there racing on those fresh tyres. When you get this mixed up situation where cars are on very old tyres, where cars are on very fresh tyres, you can get some very, very dicey situations. As Noddy Tompkin just goes down, he just catches that infield a little bit. He's going to lose a little bit of speed there. Just behind him as well, you've got 3 cars, 2 Simboys and Brenton West battling it out as well. But Noddy Tompkin really wants to make this move because he is on those fresh tyres. He needs to make this move soon because he's got Christopher Finlay right there with him fighting for these positions.
Yeah, so they'll be wanting to make hay while the sun shines. It's very, very close here between Gallagher and Joshua Carroll-Walden.
Yeah, Noddy Tompkin's looking on at Christopher Finlay going, I wish I could have gotten away with that one because he was going to want to try and get through there relatively quickly. Noddy, unfortunately, 4 laps down. I think he had a bit of an incident, had to get some repairs done in pit lane because he was stationary for a fair bit of time along with Scott Griffiths. Maybe got a little bit of a penalty. Lachlan Urquhart is going to be coming into pit lane this time around, I reckon. We're going to see him darting into pit lane as we're on lap 48. We've got Hobson and Skurlock coming into pit road as well. Skurlock dropped down a lot of positions. Skurlock.
Yeah, he did. I think he was just struggling again with the tyre there because he lost that spot to Ruben Phelps late in the stint and just struggling a bit for pace, but he has jumped in through pit lane 1 lap earlier than Lockie and Luke Traher, who's also jumped in.
Yeah, just odd to see Skurlock struggling. It's not one of those things we get to say very often. Josh Mickelmore coming into pit lane this time round, just getting that car settled into pit road. Got to be careful here on these old tyres. It's very easy to lock a wheel and make a big mistake. This is going to give Dave Douglas the chance to take the lead of this race and get that bonus point as well, which is always a nice feeling. this is where Ryan Jones's strategy is going to pay off for him. You're going to see he's going to gain a lot of positions here, and he's going to gain a lot of time over the rest of guys as long as it remains green.
Yeah, indeed. He is the first of our cars that has jumped through pit lane. And I was just thinking there as well, a lot of viewers might know, these cars don't have pit limiters, so all reliant on the driver to get it pulled up in time before the cones in the line, and to manage the speed.
Making an absolute pig's ear of his pit entry. He manages to somehow just get that car through the cones so he doesn't get a penalty, but he's come in a bit too hot, locked up the wheel, and he's missed the pit road, and he's had to really just scrape that car in. That's going to lose him an awful lot of time, as we see here the replay. So he's tried to come down, he's turned in a little bit too late, just not scrubbed off enough speed, and you can see he's just completely missed pit entry, locked up the wheels, and then just had to turn that car. They don't have much steering lock. He's just managed to edge it around the cone to avoid a penalty.
Yeah, so good result from a bad situation there for Ruben, but he'll move on.
Not what you need in a green flag stop, though. Because, of course, you're going to lose a lot more time with it under green than you would under a caution. You lose a lot of time coming through pit lane, about 40 seconds. And that is a lifetime on an oval circuit.
So Dave Douglas here playing a much longer game. He will be a couple of laps to the good after this lap out. Josh Carroll-Walden the same, Brenton West. Hamish Gallagher's jumped into pit lane this time around, as has Troy Davison, and we'd probably expect to see a couple of the other guys jump in too, but they're running a longer stint here, probably hoping for the caution if nothing else, but nothing doing at the moment.
No, from what I was told, they'll probably be looking at about maybe 1 or 2 more laps before they come in. I think we'll see Dave Douglas coming in this lap. So he's going to keep it out there for as long as possible, hope for that caution to come out. But the other thing this does for Dave Douglas is it gives him much fresher tyres towards the end of the race. So he's going to lose a lot of time right now. And you can see right behind him is Josh Micklemore, who is absolutely flying on those fresh tyres. But Mr. Double D, Dave Douglas, is going to come in, get those fresh tyres on, going to lose a lot of positions. But what that's going to do for him is it's going to give him the chance to actually have some nice fresh tyres to the end of the race, give him the opportunity to catch up to these guys. As they start struggling on those tyres, he's going to start gaining positions. This is going to give Brenton West the lead of the race. So Brenton West is going to get the lead, and he's going to get a bonus point for that as well. And he's also the guy that's made the fuel last the longest. He's managed to go 55 laps on this one, providing he gets around on this lap, of course. So he'll be coming in at the end of this one, I would say, chucking some new tyres on there, getting some fuel in the car. If a caution came out now, it would be perfect for him.
Yeah, absolutely, but he's going to get his wish somehow. He's already down into pit lane.
So said earlier, gets it in. Said earlier, watch out for Ryan Jones, because he's going to gain a lot of positions with that early stop, and he has indeed. He's currently sitting around about 6 seconds ahead of Josh Micklemore. Ryan Jones is going to take the lead of this race. Not the qualifying he wanted, but this is a race position he will be loving. Again, a caution flag right now would be perfect for Ryan Jones. This would really help his strategy out, because he's not going to make it to the end.
Hey, what though? Josh Micklemore, according to my timing screen, is absolutely eating up this gap. He's pulled it down from over 4 seconds, and it's rapidly declining. Now it's going to fall below 3 seconds this time around. So, we'll see here at 28, Jaden Russell, he's unlapping himself, but Micklemore making absolute mincemeat of the gap as we stand.
That's the difference between tyres that have done 23 laps and tyres that have done 7 laps. Sure, it is the big difference maker here. Obviously, that early stop from Ryan Jones, it gave him a really nice gain of positions early on in his stint, but he didn't gain enough time to make it last. So he really needs a caution to come out in the next 5 laps, I would say, Otherwise, his race is going to be effectively over. So Ryan Jones is going to struggle in this one, and it's that thing of he's banking on a caution flag. We've not had any yet, touch wood. We won't see any come out. We'll get to see a nice green race tonight. But Ryan Jones, he needs that caution. Same with Matt Hunter. Matt Hunter doing a great job of gaining a lot of positions with Christopher Finley and Cade Donnelly. They all came in a lot earlier, banking on a caution. Stephen Williams as well, one of those drivers that came in early, but now they're starting to pay the price on those very old tyres. They're not really able to do anything to counteract these guys.
Yes,
up the front, Ryan Jones is about to get passed by Josh Micklemore. Micklemore is going to take the lead back of this race. Brenton Hobson will be following him with Michael Skurlock just behind. Michael Skurlock looking good at the moment with that slightly earlier pit stop. It gained him a lot more time back and got him right back onto the tail of Brenton Hobson.
Just keeping an eye on Dave Douglas as well. He pitted obviously the latest on lap 54 of this lead pack. And he's doing the same thing. He'll be up on the back of Matty Hunter before Matty knows it. And I'm surprised if he's back up challenging for the lead of this race in a few laps.
Yeah, watch out for Dave. He's going to be flying through the field. He's currently setting laps about half a second faster than the leaders. So he's going to have those nice fresh tyres on that car. So he's going to be setting some good pace. Joshua Carroll-Walden as well. He should be setting some good lap times as well out there. So both of those guys coming in that bit later. Keep an eye on Brenton West as well. We saw he was the last of the late stoppers. So he's going to have some slightly fresher tyres than the guys around him. So he should start gaining some positions. He's currently chasing down Norman Clark, but he will not be wasting time. He'll be gaining a fair few positions. So I'd say watch out for Brenton West getting within the top 10 tonight. He is definitely on board for making that.
Sonis there as well. There's a fair bit of damage on the left-hand rear corner of the 35 of JCW there. Didn't pick up where he picked that up, but at some stage someone's given that one a fair old whack.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find out what happened with that one. See if I can pick it up. I'll let you know if I do. But yeah, this is sometimes the thing that there are a few incidents that go unnoticed, and sometimes you just don't see these things. I think he's had that for a fair bit of time though. So I'm just jumping back a few laps, and yeah, he's had that for quite a long time for JCW. I think it might have been earlier in the race. In some of the early melee that we saw between himself and I think it was Luke Trahir maybe. I think maybe Luke may have just made a little bit of contact a bit earlier on with JCW, and that might be where that damage came from.
There's Brenton Hobson. Not sure how that's happened. It says on my screen that he has assumed the lead. Looks like Josh Micklemore may have suffered a dropout.
Yeah, I've lost Josh Micklemore from my tracker as well. He might come back, but at the moment it looks like Josh Micklemore may have unfortunately lost connection, which is a real shame for Joshy. It's always a shame when technical failure creeps in and you get a DNF from a mechanical failure. It's not what you want to see happen, and it's not what you want to have happen. But yeah, Josh Micklemore has reappeared, I think. Let's have a little bit of a look-see.
No, he's not. He's
out. Not. He's falling out. So yeah, Josh Micklemore, unfortunately, looks like he's out of this race with some kind of mechanical gremlin. That is a real shame for Josh Micklemore. He was having an extremely strong run tonight, but what this has done is promoted Brenton Hobson up into first place, with Michael Skurlock in second. Ryan Jones currently sitting in third position. Dave Douglas catching up to these guys. 5 seconds for Dave Douglas and the lead right now on those nice fresh tyres. We've got 35 laps remaining. This race is going to get very, very close towards the end as Ryan Jones comes into pit lane.
So Dave Douglas there did get past Jones as you're giving that rundown, and he is now rapidly closing the gap to Michael Skurlock. He's already picked up 3 tenths now since passing Jones.
Yeah, strategy not paying off for Ryan Jones tonight. He's going to have a very fast car out there towards the end of the race, but unfortunately, you're going to lose an awful lot of time coming through pit lane for that second time. He is going to overtake a few drivers, though, as long as a caution doesn't come out. There are quite a few drivers that have to stop again. The top of those is Matty Hunter. He's currently running in 4th position, so Matt Hunter's going to be the one of the drivers that's going to have to come into pit lane. So there are a few drivers that still have to make that second stop. Of course, they're going to be hoping to see a yellow flag come out to help salvage this race for them.
And of course, we're not entirely sure that Skurlock and Hobson are going to make it on fuel either. Both pitted on lap 47 as Matt Hunter does jump into the lane. They may not make it on fuel.
I would say they will, in all honesty. I think it's going to be, it might be a little bit close depending on their driving style, but I think they should be both safe. These cars should be able to do 50 laps without too much issue. It's just how they go on their tyres, of course. I reckon they stopped a couple of laps sooner than the rest of the field just to get those fresh tyres on the car, just to give themselves a little bit of an advantage coming out of pit lane, just to give themselves that little bit of a jump over the rest of the guys. Not too much difference, about 6 laps between themselves and Dave Douglas. But if they do have to do any fuel saving, it is going to be a godsend for Dave Douglas, because he's going to be able to catch these guys, and he is catching still. So he's only 3.5 seconds off the leader. That's 2 seconds off Michael Skurlock. So he is going to catch up to them. But you've got to remember those tyres are going to start plateauing relatively soon. I reckon Dave Douglas has only got about 5 more laps to make this one work perfectly. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to take advantage of those tyres quite as much as he'd want to.
Well, obviously, time will tell. We've jumped back here to Lachlan Urquio, Luke Trahere, JCW and Hamish Gallagher, who are all having a crack. I want to pick up if that is. That's not Troy Davison in behind there. I believe that is Tristan Koch.
That's Tristan Koch.
He's trying to get himself unlapped, and he is on the same tyre strategy as these guys. A few laps earlier, but not too much difference there.
Yeah, just that's a little bit of difference. Absolutely share your sentiments. Aidan Schultz, thank you for commenting, watching us on Facebook tonight. Real shame about Josh Mickelmore falling out, because he really was on fire, had some serious pace up there. JCW, meanwhile, has some good pace. He's going to get a good run on Luke Trahere right now. JCW getting an Atari Autosport number 35 underneath Trahere right now and getting that position. He's got Lachlan Urquio just in front of him. These guys know each other. They're quite well out on track, former teammates, of course. So those guys will be battling it out and trying to chase down Ruben Phelps a little bit further up the pack. Meanwhile, the gap for first is starting to close a little bit. Dave Douglas is 2.8 seconds off the lead, so he is catching, but not as fast as he was before, but he is slowly creeping up to Skurley. JCW, meanwhile, is going to make the move on Lachlan. He's got down on the inside. That AJ Insurance Services car has got down there. The Atari Autosport car, Joshua Carroll-Walton, is going to try and make the pass on the Australia-New Zealand combined racing lead car of Lachlan Urquio. Can't quite make it work this time round. Lachlan is doing a great job of holding onto the outside line, just keeping the better run off the corner at the moment. Really nice job from Lockie to defend that position, because JCW had some really good speed there.
Yeah, Matt Hunter getting down the inside there as well to move up. He's got fresher tyres, so he's unlapped himself. So it's a bit of a mixed pack at the moment. But the 42, 35 and 43 of Urquio, Carroll-Walton and Trahere all battling for positions 5 through 7. All moved up as well. Lockie up 3, Josh up 5 and Luke up 3 as well. So made progress during the race. Very well indeed. Hasn't tightened up much at the front yet either, so we'll stick with this battle until that one develops. In fact, we also have Scott Griffith and Stephen Williams battling away down there. Steve hasn't worked out for him as well tonight as he would have hoped, with a good qualifying effort. He qualified in 3rd, in fact, sitting down in 20th at the moment. I'm not too sure why he has dropped off that far, actually. He hasn't been involved in any incidents. He has pitted twice, so he did jump early, but just hasn't been able to make the ground back up.
No, just struggling a little bit, and those two stoppers it's not really paying off for them tonight, unfortunately. You can see the pace advantage. You just saw Ryan Jones getting past this group of cars and just flying away, but he is 2 laps down at the moment, Ryan Jones, so he is quite a way off the pace. And really struggling. Meanwhile, up the front, Dave Douglas has just made the pass for second place on Michael Skurlock. Michael Skurlock conceding the position. I think Skurlock might have made a little bit of a mistake, actually, just tagging the wall, just coming out of turn number 2, and that gave Dave Douglas the opportunity to pounce. The Virtual Motorsport mentored Crank Esports car getting passed by Mr. Dave Douglas and getting that position, getting up to P2. Now he has to just get a little bit further to Brenton Hobson.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you must have just done something there, because we checked the gap before we jumped back to the Trahair-Carroll-Walden battle, and the gap was still around half a second, so, and then blink of an eye and it's changed, so an uncharacteristic mistake there from Skurlock, and that's allowed Douglas up into second.
A bit of a shame there, but meanwhile Luke Trahair is doing the job on Lachlan Urquio. He has managed to get past JCW, and now he's going to try the same on Lockie. Going to try and make that move off the tri-oval. He's got the inside line at the moment. That 43 is looking pretty racy tonight, but Lachlan's managing to make that high line work for himself. Doing a great job out there. Just heard from Aidan Schultz. Unfortunately, he couldn't make the race tonight. He's just getting a new monitor set up working, but couldn't quite get it working for the race. So a shame not to see him out on track, but his teammate of Luke Trahair is doing a great job out there, doing some good runs and putting up a great fight. Same as Michael Skurlock up there in third place. Having a little bit of a struggle. I think it's definitely those tyres. He's not quite enjoying the tyres as much as some of the other drivers.
Yeah, so if there's one thing we know about Trahair as well, it's that he manages his car very well throughout the race, so it wouldn't surprise me if in these last 22 laps he is quite pacey. So we'll keep an eye on this one, as you say. Got past Joshua Carroll-Walden there, and just now trying to find a way past Lachlan Urquio. If he can get that done, he's off in the clear to try and hunt down Ruben Phelps, who's about 5 seconds up the road.
Yeah, Lachlan Urquio at the moment has got the widest Chevrolet in the world. He's managing to take up about 7 lanes of this track at the moment, doing a great job of defending, just keeping that car. As I said, he's just able to run that high line at the moment and is making it work absolutely perfectly for himself. Nobody can really get past him, and he's just doing a really nice job of defending. Just behind, it's giving them the chances. Ryan Jones has just gone off on the infield, just making a big long slide across the grass. Managing to save that car. He made a big impact into the wall, and he's going to come into pit lane. I think we might see Ryan Jones possibly getting a repair or maybe retiring from this race, unfortunately. But up the front, Lachlan Urquio still battling it out. He's still got a fast charging Luke Trahair right on his tail. And thank you very much, Riley Curtis, there letting us know the stream is working well. We like to hear that one as well. Shame not to see you out there, Riley. Hopefully we'll see you back soon. But going very well out there tonight. And yeah, Lachlan Urquio is doing a great defence, but Luke Trahair might have him here. He's got a good run as Lachlan just gets very close to the wall, gets a little bit of a bounce off the wall from the air pocket, goes into Luke. There is a minor contact. Very little contact between those two. That was super close there. Great save by both those drivers. This is going to give Brenton West the chance. I said watch out for Brenton West. He's going to get up in the top 5. He might do better than that right now. He's on those nice fresh tyres, remember. His tyres are a fair bit fresher than the guys around him. So himself and Joshua Carroll-Walden are on the freshest rubber out there. But they are now really fighting very hard. It is getting very close for this battle for 5th place.
Yeah, I was just waiting there. I was going to say your man Brenton West is doing exactly what you described. Luke Trahair here getting down on the inside of Lachlan Urquio, so he had managed to get that move done. He's just had to pull out over a little bit there as the push on the 43 gets him quite close to that left-hand rear corner of Urquio's 42 entry. Brenton West just driving away now down on the inside of the 35 of Joshua Carroll-Walden. He's going to get that move done. He's going to try and hope to go with Trahair here, I think, if he can. Just not able quite yet to get close enough to Trahair to work with him there. The draft here, probably not the biggest that we see. Certainly not the biggest that we see there'll be a little bit of help there as well. So we got 2 wide here on lap 86 of this race, and it's still so close. These guys have been at it now for a good 24 laps. This pack straight out of the pit stop into it before the pit stop, so it's probably even longer than that. But Brenton West here in the good position to make the move and move up on Luke Traher as well.
Yeah, look, Brendan West is going to have a bit of an easier job than Luke Traher did, because he's got those tyres will be just a little bit grippier. He'll be able to run that slightly lower line without too much trouble. The sort of about 5-6 lap fresher tyres on his and those cars around him, they're going to be dropping off a fair bit right now as well, in all honesty, but he should be able to just keep that lower line a little bit better, just do a good job. But Luke Traher is going to want to try and run away, but Brenton West is going to keep him honest. Hamish Gallagher doing a great job of recovering right now. He's got up into this battle. He's side by side as they are 3 wide with Urquio, Joshua Carroll Walden and Gallagher there. Those guys are really starting to put the pressure on. There's also Mirko Dornak down there as well on those fresher tyres on that alternate strategy. Not quite working out for Mirko, unfortunately, but he is going to be pretty fast. He'll be able to do it. But Brenton West has got the position. He's managing to make that inside line work much better for him. Those fresher tyres are definitely paying dividends right now. That few laps of pain where he stayed out there a bit longer than everyone else have come to some really good results now as he makes his way into P5.
Mirko Dornak on fresher tyres too. He's now up with Luke Traher, but he is unlapping himself. But just the benefit there of the fresh tyres, he's just driven right by his teammate. And
as JCW makes contact with Hamish Gallagher, big snap of oversteer for JCW there on the exit of the corner. It looks like he's just run up a bit high. All of a sudden, that car's gripped where it didn't want to, and he's just gone into Hamish there. Big moment. Great save again to keep this race green. Hamish Gallagher has given some more rhinoplasty to Taylor Swift tonight. She has got a very different nose to how she started the evening, but he's managed to keep it straight, managed to keep it going, and managed to keep in this race somehow.
And more importantly, managed to keep it green. So Brenton Hobson will be thankful for that. He's got a gap that's just stabilised at around 2 seconds. Dave Douglas is ever so slightly closing him down, but at this rate it will not be enough. So Brenton Hobson comfortably in the lead of this one as we speak. Dave Douglas 2 seconds down the road behind him, and he's opened up a gap of 5 seconds over Michael Skurlock in 3rd position. Ruben Phelps, the 06, 1.5 seconds away from Michael Skurlock and lapping quicker. So there could be a late challenge on here for 3rd place with 11 to go. Skurlock just taps the wall there as well. So he is struggling, and that's allowed Phelps to catch up now. This is going to fall under the 1 second barrier between the two drivers. There is a lap car in between here. It is the 550. No, I am wrong. It is the 5 of Scott Griffith. So this battle for 3rd definitely not over.
That's really heating up. Skurlock has not looked comfortable out here tonight. Not something we used to say, and in all honesty, we're so used to seeing Skurlock doing his usual thing out there, but just not quite getting that car working for him tonight. Maybe he needs to start growing the old mutton stash out a bit bigger. He needs a bit more of the beard power tonight just to get it working here around Chicagoland. But Ruben Phelps is doing a great job behind him, putting the pressure on right now. And you've got to say, Ruben Phelps is looking good for that position because Skurlock is really struggling. Dave Douglas's tyres have plateaued. Like I said, we would probably see, and he's just not quite catching Brenton Hobson as much as he'd want to. The big question, of course, as you said earlier, Stuart, was if they can go on fuel. They should be okay, Hobson and Skurlock, but they will be getting a little bit close. If Hobson has to fuel save a little bit coming towards the end of this race, Dave Douglas will catch him up very quickly. So that battle is not yet over. That can soon happen. Meanwhile, Ruben Phelps has made the position on Skurlock. Ruben Phelps up into P3.
Yeah, absolutely. I might just jump on board with Brenton actually and have a listen to see what he's doing, because running out in front as he is with no traffic, there's no fuel saving from a assistance perspective. I might just ride on board with him here for a few corners and just hear what happens.
And just see him catching up to the back of Joshua Carroll-Walton right there in the 35, the 11th place. The up to P10 now have been lapped by Hobson. Definitely not fuel saving. Hobson, he's still got some good speed in that car. He's managed to pull out a little bit of time over Dave Douglas as well with that traffic, so it's working out pretty well for him at the moment. The car that's struggling, I'd say, is Michael Skurlock. It's possible we might see him lose another position to Brenton West right now. Meanwhile, the battle is still raging in P8, 9 and 10. Lachlan Acquio, who has been fighting all night long, is now battling with Hamish Gallagher. The man that started on pole has fallen down a little bit. Unfortunately, that early mistake costing him, but he is still battling with Lachlan Acquio. I think Lachlan Acquio has made about 700 passes tonight. He has been battling side by side with cars all night long.
He certainly has, yeah. He got away for a little bit, but he's fallen right back into the clutches of this pack, and he's all but one from the back of it now, which is unfortunate for Acquio. Showed good pace early on.
A really strong night from Lachlan, and it's one of those things. He qualified 8th. He's currently sitting in 8th, so you look at the results and it doesn't always tell the full story, unfortunately, but he's had a very strong night tonight and really been showing some good pace up there, and also really having some good battles, and that's the main thing. Some really good, clean, strong racing from Lucky, doing a good job. Just sitting behind them in P10 is Norman Clark. Norman just gaining a good lot of positions, 11 positions gained in this race, biggest gainer of the race so far. Hamish Gallagher's going to try his luck down on the inside this time round, but we have seen Lachlan Acquio has been the master of that high line all night long. He's been able to keep cars behind him up running that slightly higher line. So Hamish Gallagher is going to have a lot of work to get underneath him, and I don't think he's going to make it, in all honesty.
No, I don't think so. The damage to that car is probably just halting him a little bit as well, so we'll see how that one pans out. But we've got 1.5 to go here. It'll be white flag out next time around for Brenton Hobson. This will be his first win in ANZCAR, will it, Carl? Do you know?
It will be, yes. From all my records and all my knowledge, which I will say is not 100%. In all of the years, but I've been around for a while. This is his second Xfinity race, though. So he's been in. He finished in. What was it? He finished within the top 5 in his last outing for ANZCAR. I'm trying to remember where that was. Give me a second, and I will double check that one.
So definitely, they're going to be his first win here, and he's just about to come across the start-finish line and take out the flag. So Brenton Hobson does it here in a all-green race in the 54 Chevrolet. Takes out the win. It's going to be Dave Douglas in second. So Dave will come back up into the comm booth for a bit and join us after the race, along with Ruben Phelps with a big drift there in third. He'll be wrapped to get a podium. He was talking to us in the truck race where he got a good result, but he was having a chat with us afterwards and saying, that he's not had the best luck this season so far, and he'll be happy to get into that top 3.
Yeah, really nice result from Ruben. He has been strong all season, and he has been one of those drivers that has impressed us this year. Of course, this his first year in the ANZCAR series, and he's no longer a what we'd call a rookie, because he's done a fair few races. He's still technically a rookie in the Cup Series, but he's done a fair few rounds now, Ruben Phelps, and he's been very impressive. Brenton Hobson taking out his first win. Of course, we saw him come second at COTA. That's what I was trying to remember. So he's managed to show he's got pace on the twisty stuff and also on the left turns as well. Hobson taking out the win here and blowing up the engine. A really good job for him. 5th place for Brenton West. at the end. So a really nice job from him. Said he was going to be looking at top 10. He managed to make it the top 5 in the end. Luke Trahir in 6th, Troy Davidson 7th, Lachlan Urquio, strong finish in 8th. He managed to hold on to it from Hamish Gallagher in 9th. Norman Clark, the biggest gainer of the night, 10 positions. Jaden Russell just behind him, 11th. 12th, Matt Hunter, also with 11 positions gained. Good strong result from Matty Hunter. JCW 13th, 14th, Ben Vickers, Mirko Dornak 15th, 16th was Stephen Williams, 17th, Kate Donnelly, Christopher Finley in 18th, 19th was Michael Schroeder, with Tristan Koch, Scott Griffiths, Nobby Compton, Ryan Jones unfortunately out, Josh Micklemore seeing a early retirement, sadly for Micklemore, Aaron Dillon and Dylan Gray rounding out the field of entrants. 26 cars out there tonight. We went green all the way. A fantastic race from all. So we will just wait for the drivers to start lurking around the green room. They will slowly start to fill up and slither their way in, as drivers often do. But what we'll do is we'll grab down the drivers as they start to appear, and we'll grab down first of all our third place finisher, Mr. Ruben Phelps. Ruben, welcome back to the booth. Congratulations on that P3 finish.
Hey, Cal. Yeah, it was good good race.
Now, I was chatting to you before the race, as we said, and you said you wanted to make a good qualifying effort tonight. You wanted to qualify a bit higher up and not have to run your way through the whole field. Well, you qualified 9th and you finished in 3rd position. I'd say that's a job done.
Yeah, no, I think in qualifying I did get a bit squirrely in 3 and 4, so it cost me maybe a 0.05, so I probably could have been about 5th. But all in all, I think I managed to really look after the car, just slowed my pace down a lot throughout the run. And after, I think lap 35 onwards, I was starting to move up really nicely, and I got myself in the top 5 and then made a mistake on pit entry, which cost me about 8 seconds. So it would have been pretty close between me, Dave, and Brenton if I didn't screw that one up.
Yeah, I was going to mention that one because we did catch that on stream, of course. You never get away with stuff like that, unfortunately. What happened with that one?
Completely overshot. Didn't want to, just locked up, and next minute I was outside the cones. Luckily, I tried not to stop the car because I wasn't sure if I was going to cause yellow. Luckily, I didn't quite do that, and I just managed to get in there, but still, it definitely wasn't wanted.
No. Great job though, getting that car through the cones, because it looked like you were trying to get more steering lock than what was possible in the car to get it around that corner.
Yeah, I think I just caught it on that wee bit of apron there, but I may have just missed the mark on when I would slow down usually. So, but all in all, luckily I managed to get in there and didn't get a penalty or anything, just other than track time and that. And then if something happened to Josh because he was leading comfortably and something, he disappeared. So if wherever he disappeared off to, it really costed him big time.
Yeah, big shame for Josh Micklemore, as we said. Not sure what happened, some kind of disconnection. But this is going to be good for you championship-wise. Obviously, you came into this round gaining 4 positions last time out. You came in 3rd place. This is going to be getting you a cup, maybe up to around about P2, I'd say, I think, on my terrible maths. But this is really going to help out for the Thunder Series. Looking good so far this season. We were talking just a little bit at the end there about you still being technically a rookie in the ANZCAR series. I mean, first year in the series, of course, but doesn't feel like it anymore because you've been doing some amazing performances.
I suppose if anybody watched IndyCar race, I did a Scott McLaughlin, him being a rookie in his pit entrance situation, which costed him any chance of a good finish. So I can say it is definitely a rookie mistake there, but with the points, yeah, I'm actually shocked to be second. This is the car I usually thought that I really have a terrible time with, and never really driven it properly until this league. So with being second or, being in a championship run, I'm pretty happy.
It's been a really good, strong start from yourself, and we've seen some really good results from you. Congratulations again on that P3. And before I let you go, the usual love and shout out to sponsors and people you want to say hello to.
I got out to RP Motorsports. You can follow on Facebook, which I do streams on, and shout out to Mum because she usually watches. Shout out to you guys for the broadcast, and yeah, that was all good. And the Hot Wheels machine doing it again.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Ruben. I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth relatively soon.
Will do. Thanks.
Next up, we will jump to second place finisher, Mr. Dave Douglas. Welcome back to the booth, Dave. It's been a little bit of time since we've seen you.
Wait, what's going on?
It's a pleasure to have you back, Dave. Of course, you're not commentating for us at the moment. You're doing something else, and apparently you seem to be doing pretty well at it with finishing in second place tonight.
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. It's only a P2, but yeah, old Brenton had a bit too much there in the end. I thought I was going to have tyres on him, but yeah, he done really, really well and managed his last run on those tyres. And I got to that 2 second mark and it just fluctuated 2/10 here and there. And every time I made it, I'd lost it again. So yeah, all credit to Brenton getting that one done. But yeah, P2. Yeah, pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that. Of course, you went for the longer stint, of course, staying out there a bit longer and hoping for those nice fresh tyres towards the end. Helped you out a little bit getting up past Michael Skurlock, who had a little bit of a trip to the wall and made that pass a little bit easier than I'm sure he would have wanted to. But strategy-wise, were you pretty happy with that one, or do you wish you'd come in a couple of laps earlier to try get that little bit of undercut done?
Nah, I think that's the right strategy. I think I just used them up too much because I saw the time I was gaining, so I sort of got excited a bit on the loud pedal. But I think that was the better strategy. If it stays green, it's a better strategy. If it goes yellow, then obviously the guys make track position. But yeah, for a green race, I think the later you pit, the better it is. But yeah, you just got to manage the tyres, and I didn't do that good enough, and Brenton did, so he got the chocolates.
No, well, that's the other thing I wanted to say as well. Green race tonight. To take it out of you a little bit tonight? All those laps under green?
Nah, I love this track. It's probably one of my favourite on the calendar. So anytime I get to run here and be up on the top three, I suppose it's always good. But yeah, definitely one of my favourite tracks out here. So it was a pleasure running around there.
No, it's good to see you out there and good to see you with such good race pace as well, giving us some great stuff to watch through the stream. You usually give us some good entertainment in the booth for talking, but you gave us even more out on the track tonight, Dave. Thank you for that.
Oh, no worries, mate. That's what I try to do every week for you.
Well, it's what we expect of you. That's the least we expect of you, Dave. Before I let you go, of course, the usual shout out and love to sponsors.
Oh, yeah. Got my partners, Rowdy Energy, Kyle Bush, mate. Shout out for the paint tonight. Shout out to myself. And yeah, I've got a Facebook page as well. If you want to add me, I probably won't add you back, but at least you tried. And then yeah, shout out to ANZCAR and all the guys there, and you guys for putting the broadcast on. One of the best in the business, FGM. Get them around it. And yeah, no, but I think that's it. Oh, and for the BMX Bandits, they know who they are.
Thank you so much, Dave. It's always a pleasure having you up here, and I'm sure we'll get to speak to you again relatively soon.
Too easy, and congrats, Brenton.
And speaking of Brenton, next up, we will jump up to you, mate. Congratulations on that first victory in ANZCAR.
Yeah, thanks very much. I wasn't expecting to win tonight. I was just trying to probably get a little bit of experience. So I came in with low expectations, but yeah, we learned a fair bit on the fly, and I was surprised that we managed to hang on at the end. But obviously, pretty happy. I feel like I had one stolen from me at Dover a few weeks ago, so I was yeah, pretty keen to get a good result tonight, and managed to do it. So.
Yeah, of course, we saw the tragedy of Dover when we saw a few of you guys coming in for the first time. It was a big shame with that one, but it's good to see you bounce back. We saw you get P2 at COTA, of course, so you're not new to the podium here, but new to the top step, of course. How much experience have you got on the left-handers?
Not a whole lot. I mean, I'm a road racer, so the COTA thing probably wasn't a great surprise. But the oval stuff is what I'm here to actually do, because I just want to sort of experience it a bit. I've tried a little bit of official racing, and it's just usually a complete barn burner and 150 cautions and 10,000 punts, and it's not enjoyable for me. That's one of the appeals to coming over here to ANZCAR, is that by all accounts, everyone I've spoken to, the racing's great. Lots of clean, good green flag racing, which is what I wanted to do, because I wanted to sort of measure myself up and see how I go with some of these guys that do this all the time. So obviously I'm happy to come in and do well, but that's not the expectation with the limited laps that I have. And that's not to say that next time I turn up I'll be any good either. It's very much going to be track by track, I think.
No, look, very much so. And of course, got well, not saying it to be negative, but a little bit lucky. Of course, Josh Micklemore losing connection during that race, sort of helping you out a little bit there, but you had some great pace throughout. We saw you coming in about a little bit earlier, of course, trying that long stint on the final run, of course. Were you starting to get a little bit worried on fuel towards the end of that stint, or were you feeling good through that final 53 laps?
Yeah, just quickly with Josh, that sucked. I was actually in Discord with him, and he knew it was coming about a lap before it happened. He said, "Oh no," he actually dropped out in qualifying and barely made it back in to get his lap as well. So it was his second one for the night. So that's tragic because it was his race to lose, and I had nothing for him really. I was happy sitting behind those guys at the start because I wanted to just learn the ropes a little bit because, again, I don't really know what I'm doing. So I decided to just try and sit behind and pace myself and use those guys as a marker, which I did with Josh for about 20 laps and then realised that I killed the right front tyre and he drove away. So I learned a lot and decided, the earlier pit stop, I made sure I'd be fine for fuel. I figured if we got a late caution for a green-white checker, I'm probably going to want tyres anyway. So I committed to come in with enough laps that I could make it home just on the fuel. I was about 2 laps to the good, and then went back about my business and applied what I learned from that first stint to make sure I didn't hurt that right front tyre. So it was very, very ginger at the first 10 laps of the stint, didn't push at all. And of course, we saw Michael range right up behind me and even Josh pulled away a little bit before he disconnected. And then Dave came like a bat out of hell for several laps, and I saw him charging. I thought I was done. I just hoped that he was hurting his tyres doing it, and ultimately that's what happened. So I feel like I did all the right stuff. I think I made the right calls and whatnot and adjusted on the fly as I needed to. So I'm pretty happy with tonight. I think I couldn't have done a lot better. So I'm happy with all that. But like I said, just so inexperienced that I don't really know what I'm meant to be doing. So I think we got lucky tonight. But I'm definitely not counting my chickens before I hatch as far as the results go going forward.
No, look, it's not a bad thing to do, so you have some honesty there, but don't sell yourself short either. You managed to run some excellent laps, green all the way as well. That is something else tonight as well, of course. A big long green stint for us all, and you had the pace ultimately out there. So a really good, strong race for you, and it is a good sign for the future because we have seen a few new faces coming into the league, and we love it when you come in and you show some pace as well. So congratulations on that, and look, I am sure we're going to see you back in the booth before the year ends as well. Some really good run out there, and look, we won't say we're going to expect to see you winning many times in the future, at least in the next 5 or 6 races, but after that I think we're going to see you up on that top step a few more times, mate.
Oh yeah, that's the plan. Fingers crossed. I'd like to come out here and do well. But again, Josh was one of the main reasons behind me joining in here. He was hounding me about coming in and having a go. So he's like my marker. I know he's pretty decent in these things. So I just want to try and turn up and learn from following him around and use him as my marker probably. Those guys at the front, and we'll just see if we're in position. Then we'll go for it. But we got lucky tonight, and that's just how it worked tonight. But next time, who knows? We'll just see what happens.
Well, you've done it now, though. You've done the hard part of getting that first victory. I always say the first is the hardest to get, but sometimes it doesn't feel that way. But congratulations on that win, mate. And before I let you go, of course, the usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors.
Thanks. Shout out to the guys, SSR. Had Jaden and Scott in the race tonight with us as well, which was cool. Unlucky for Jaden, he picked up some damage early, but thanks to those guys for jumping in. And to the competition in general, like I said, I've got a little bit of limited experience in the cars, but every time I've tried to race them in officials, it's been a wreck fest. So a huge shout out to the competition in general for everyone. A clean race, green all the way. That was a lot of fun and something that I was hoping to get out of this series, and I have. And that also means shout out to the guys that run it all as well. Obviously, ANZCAR, it's a cool thing. To you guys in the booth and to the team sponsors, JK Signs, Smith & Sons, Aftershock PC, DJD Customs, along with many others. It's what helps the wheels turn.
No, congratulations and thanks so much for the lovely words to the league and to us, and welcome to the ANZCAR Winners Club, and we will hopefully see you many more times in the booth for that one, and of course hopefully we'll see you coming over to some of the other series as well. See you up in the cup as well in the future, because I'm sure some of the boys there are going to be wanting to see you racing out there as well in some time to come.
Yeah, I've got one eye on the Cup cars. I don't want to overstep my abilities too quickly, but I've got one eye on that. Hopefully we can jump over there and maybe make an appearance before the end of the season and maybe look to go over there next season. We'll see what happens.
Well, there'll probably be plenty of room tomorrow night at Sonoma, so...
That's actually pretty tempting. I realised the race was there tomorrow night.
Yeah. No, look, have a good one. We will hopefully see you again soon. And thank you so much, guys. Have a good night, and we will see you all again shortly.
Thank you.
So, Stuart, another great race, a fantastic long green period here tonight for the Thunder Series. What a brilliant race, and what brilliant racing we had throughout the field.
Yeah, it's the first green run that we've had for a little while, so good to just have the race decided by a bit of strategy and some good driving. So congratulations there to Hobbo for his first win in ANZCAR, and obviously Dave for his first podium since his return, and Ruben's probably long overdue there as well. So a good grid outcome and some good racing. Of course, tomorrow night we are back. You mentioned it at, dare I say, Dirty Sonoma. It's not the most popular track on the calendar. It's going to be tough for everyone. Really, I've seen plenty of practice sessions up during the week across the board. So we'll be back here tomorrow night with that one from 8 p.m. as usual on a Thursday night, and looking forward to seeing what that brings. I've not called a race from Sonoma yet, so it could be a long one. Might have a nap in the afternoon just to make sure I'm prepared.
Yeah, it's going to be a interesting one, Sonoma. Everybody's well, there are a couple of people that like it, but then there are a couple of people in the world that like some strange things. You get the odd weirdo out there, I'd say. But yeah, Sonoma, definitely one of those tracks you either love or you hate, and generally it's a hate track. Expect to see Dave Douglas do well, of course. He is a expert at that track. But a big thank you to everybody, AJ Insurance Services, of course, for helping us out. A big thank you to everybody in the stream. We have to thank you, and you guys keep us going and keep everybody happy as well. If you can share around the links and things like that, it is more than appreciated. We are growing here on FGM, Ferguson Group Media, and it is getting out to more people, which is what we want to see. The more that see it, the more that come, the more that view, the more it helps everybody. And of course, always a big thank you to the ANZCAR League for keeping everything going, and we will see you all tomorrow night at Sonoma.
Absolutely. From FGM eCars, your Place for Pace, thanks for joining us tonight. We will see you tomorrow from 8 p.m. across our channels. Thanks very much for watching.